Namaskar. Welcome to Editorial. I have a very interesting editorial, and this possibly could be my last editorial for this year. I will be meeting you next year now. So, I have an interesting idea. Let us discuss top 5 events that happened in India in 2023. And you know what is the interesting part? The interesting part is that these top 5 events that I'm going to discuss with you will also show us what direction our country is going in. Now one more thing. I am not going to enumerate that direction in this editorial. So don't write and tell me that you should be giving opinion. I am not going to enumerate that direction. You are going to enumerate that direction. I will just show you 5 events. You decide where our country is going. Fair? Let's get right into the show. So I'm going to start from Jan 18th. Why Jan 18th is because Jan 18th was the day almost when the protesters, when these young girls, young wrestlers came out in protest. Protest of the chairman of Wrestling Federation of India, Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh. These young girls kept on pleading to the government that this man, this Wrestling Federation of India chairperson, who's also incidentally a Bharatiya Janata Party MP, has molested girls, harassed girls. That is what they're accusing. And they were on the streets because nobody was even willing to take their FIRs. Forget about lodging complaints. Nobody was willing to take even their FIRs. We saw how huge sports stars, Mary Kom and PT Usha, other than helping their fellow athletes, didn't bother to do much. We saw that. And finally, we also saw how a person who was accused for sexual assault, that person managed to get his own panel, his own people elected in Wrestling Federation of India. Of course, it ended well because the Sports Ministry of India suspended the newly elected president of Wrestling Federation of India, saying that, listen, you know what, he is not functioning on his own, he is functioning for somebody else. So that's how this entire incident happened. But this incident, to my mind, showed how much we care for our women's safety, how much we actually take women's safety seriously. That's the first story I want to talk to you. Our next story is Manipur Violence, which is equally bad. Again, Manipur Violence, close to our heart, because Manipur Violence, we spoke to representatives of Cookies, we spoke to representatives of Methis, we spoke to Brinda, ACP Brinda, who was the first officer who resigned her job because she refused to let a politician go who was involved in poppy trade. A politician, when according to her, the CM called her and said, let him leave, let him go, don't arrest him. She refused. She resigned her job. She gave her uniform and said, I'm not going to do it. I interviewed her. I felt very proud about such officers. I felt very proud that such officers still exist. Hundreds of people died. Women raped. 2 women were paraded naked. We saw all of that. And we also saw, even in this case, the victims literally crying, begging for justice. We saw that too. And nothing. The status currently is nothing seems to be over. It's still going on. The total death toll of Manipur, just to give you some details, September 15th, 175 people dead and 1,108 injured and close to 32 people still missing. 4,786 houses burned down. And these are government figures. So that's Manipur. That's my topic number 2. Topic number 3, the third important event that happened this year, Chandrayaan. We put Chandrayaan on the dark side of the moon. That's commendable because we are the first to do it. Of course, while a lot of credit goes to the Prime Minister of India, and he was there then with a flag and all of that, I think it's important we talk about S. Somnath, the ISRO chief, P. Veeramuttaval, project director, Mohan Kumar, mission director, S. Unnikrishnan Nair, who is director Chandrayaan-3, S. Shankaran, who is Chandrayaan-3, again director, Kalpana K, deputy project director, M. Vanitha. These are people who spend years of their lives, day and night, to ensure that Chandrayaan landed successfully in moon. So hats off to them. Damn proud day for India. Damn proud day for India. Now, let's me go to event fourth. Event fourth, G20. Actually, a very proud day for India. We spent a lot of money to have G20 in India. What we finally got out of it, that's still, kind of happening, and we are still trying to figure out exactly what we got out of G20. But that being said, we hosted G20. We hosted G20 very, very well. A few incidents like we had to cover our poverty, we had to cover slums so that others don't know that there are few people in India who still fight for 2 square meals. So we covered them up. That's okay. But the dinner was grandiose, the reception was grandiose, the event was fabulous event. But we didn't have press conference. We said, press conference क्यों करने का? जो है अपने बीच में वो, why press conference? So we didn't have press conference, and the President of America felt otherwise. So this President of America, Joe Biden, he got into his aircraft and just when he landed in Vietnam, a communist country, Vietnam, the first thing he said is he called for a press conference. And he spoke about what happened in G20. Why? Because there was no press conference in India. So while G20 was very successful, we hugged, we catered to a lot of heads of state. We were very good host. It was a fantastic event, grandiose event. It looked beautiful on screen. Everything is right. Like I told you, we have benefited. It is not that we have not benefited out of it. We have benefited. It will be wrong to say that we have not benefited. We have benefited. Exactly how much, that is something that we are still figuring out. We will figure out. I'll get back to you. But the fact is, G20 happened in India. So that's event number 4. Now let me come to event number 5. The last and the biggest. Now this event number 5 has lot of subsets. Event number 5 is our Central Vista. There was, the new parliament was inaugurated. There was a shingol and all of that. Shingol is what olden days kings used to carry, the shingol. So shingol and all, we got it from Tamil Nadu, and there were priests from Tamil Nadu who made it and all of that. So royal, beautiful. That being said, every caste, every religious heads were made to do their respective religious puja inside the Parliament House. So it was not really a Hindu affair like a lot of people say. Of course, it was dominated with Hindu affair, but other religions were also there. Our other religious heads, priests were also there performing their own rituals. So yes, it was done in a very grandiose way with, like I said, shingol and all that. President was not called for that. We didn't call the president because I don't know. President was not called for it. Again, I say with shingol and all that, with our speaker, it was a grand opening, fantastic opening. And you know what? That Central Vista looks slick, no doubt about it. It looks beautiful. It's a grand building, fantastic building. Okay, now once we got into it, lot of things happened there. All of a sudden, we found out that one of the most vociferous, one of the most active MPs, her name is Mahua Moitra. They found out that she had shared her password and her MP email password and login and all to some people, and they had uploaded something without proper authority and all of that. That was noticed, and then they also alleged that she took some bag and some cosmetics in lieu of some questions she asked. While I couldn't actually figure out what those questions were, honestly, but sharing password and all was wrong. So there is no debate about that. So she was kind of expelled out. She cannot ask any more questions, at least not till the next parliament, which means till after 2024 elections. And when the government, by the looks of it, comes back, and if she comes back, then she can ask questions. Tab tak to band. So Mahua Moitra happened, and then another very, very surprising thing, which should be taken very seriously, is two people could manage to breach all security, come inside the parliament, and throw these smoke cans right on the well of the parliament. They just came through smoke cans. These people were let in by a BJP MP. He had signed in. Even they had come in with his reference. So that's where it stands. Investigation is on. Nothing much about that investigation is spoken about, but investigation is on. That being said, again, let me tell you, two people could just walk into our parliament, in the well of the house, put a smoke can, and get away with it. And of course, they are arrested and all of that. Achha, nothing happened to the MP who signed. Nothing happened. He's answering questions, but nothing really happened to him. He's fine. But, interestingly, a lot of people, a lot of opposition MPs, they asked questions. They said, "Arey, the government is supposed to answer. How can such a thing happen? The government is supposed to answer." They got a little emotional. They got a little unruly also. And they were suspended. 146. Boom, out. 146 total strength, 545. 303 is BJP alone. 146 of them were suspended. I think this is a record figure. Such mass suspension has never happened in India's history, India's parliament history, India's democratic history. But of course, history is to be written, isn't it? So that happens. So, okay. So 146 people were out, and these 146 people went out and started mimicking the speaker. That also happened. It was quite funny. I think that MP is a talented mimic. I wonder what he is wasting his time for in that parliament. But so they mimicked the speaker, and that too happened in this parliament. So this is broadly what happened. These are the 5 major events that happened in India in 2023. You decide which direction are we going. There is one thing which I like to mention, and one thing which I like to praise the administration actually before I end. This is not part of the 5 things that change the direction of India, but this is a fantastic effort that our administrative staff made. When the Silkyara tunnel digging, there was an accident, the tunnel collapsed, 41 of our people were trapped. The way they were rescued without pressure, without getting pressurized from media and all that, all the other, their families and the people and all that, these administrative staff kept their head cool, worked beautifully, ensured that these people were not only kept healthy, they were made comfortable, and they were finally rescued. I think that was a fantastic administrative effort. 100 out of 100 marks for those who stood there and who supervised this rescue attempt. 100 out of 100 marks. So a fantastic administrative effort there. So that's broadly what my editorial today is. Like I said, you decide which direction our country is going. Write down your comments below, and I'll see you next year. Till I see you next year. Namaskar.
Stay ahead with our cutting-edge news app. Instantly access the latest shorts in just 1 minute and breaking news in just 50 words. Download now for a smarter, faster news experience.